I guess like what I'm realizing is like, well, not even realizing, like I know I've been avoiding a lot of things in my life, and I'm starting to face them again now. So, like getting a job, I got a job, and then like want to get back into like dating and stuff, and like what I'm realizing is like all of it is like really stressful and like pretty chaotic. Um, and what I want to do is like, in the midst of that, continue to wake up, and in the midst of that, like use it for like awakening as opposed to just like, living a normal life. And I feel like there's this huge tendency in me to want to like get out of it or like avoid it and like stop doing it and like get away from all of it. And I think that's like my fearful avoidant personality. But yeah, my question is just like in the midst of like all of that, in the midst of that stress, like how to use it to like continue to wake up. Because like I sometimes just go back into like covering up, you know, yeah, covering up like that consciousness with just like the stress of it all and the stories in my mind. And yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the question. Yeah.
So I hear your question not about you waking up, although I hear that's what it is for you, because who would be the one to wake up? So the one that feels like it's stressful,
Yeah.
and is seeing all these stressful things and seeing these dynamics that are arising through interacting with the world, that is part of a thinking conditioned structure. And that thinking and conditioned structure can only ever be here and there, and past and future. Even though it feels like it's measurably in the moment because you have particular feelings that are arising in the moment, it's actually something that goes in time, that you can only know it through thinking. So if you've got a dog, that like a dog can't really find something stressful. It can be having difficult feelings in the moment, but it can't think about its situation, so it can't even really know that it's having difficult feelings. There's just fear everywhere. So there is a you that's self-aware of somebody that's like expanding these dynamics and changing and improving these dynamics, and then that you believes that you will wake up. And that's the illusion. There isn't a you there that will wake up. I'm not saying don't do these things, because I think these things are fantastic for settling the person down, and I think your life on the human level, on the story of Brian, will be better, but it's not that person that wakes up. So right now, it's the space in between the thoughts about Brian. It's where that question arises from that the freedom is. And I know that it can seem like that this can seem like what's that thing? Avoidance. Like this can be very attractive for avoidant people, but it's really not about avoidance, because it's not in that realm of somebody that avoids. But that somebody that avoids can listen to this and then try to avoid, but that's what it does with everything. If it's an avoidant personality, it'll do it with everything. It's really like, what is the space between all the thoughts that are happening now, between the you that's speaking and the me that's speaking? Like, where is this here, this you, this future? And it's nice to have good premises about how to live your life. To live your life with the momentum to expand on the human level is the correct way to live life. Like, that's the characteristics of what Lisa feels. When she was in self-destruction, and when she was in lots of suffering, she wanted to diminish. But a healthy person is someone that's continuously attempting to expand. It meets the hurdles and it uses them to expand. And it's really beautiful to watch someone in that premise. But that is a different level to what's being talked about now. Who is the one that will wake up right now, in this moment? Where is that person?
Can't be found, yeah.
And then there's just like brief, and it's this non-duality is really this seeming continuous reminder that's only ever spontaneous of what you are beyond the personality structure, and it's bringing those two worlds together. This no place, and then this seeming person that's living in time, and then seemingly living with these both ends of the spectrum, the apparent person and then the no person.
Yeah, it's like I really want to go towards like the no person thing, because like there's that, there's that feels like the like familiar avoidance pattern, and I can't remember what I was saying.
But that's really beautiful to recognize that. So in that, there's this person that wants to go towards the no place, and then just notice that there is this person that's moving in time, and then there is the no place there the whole time that person's daydreaming about it and wanting to go towards that. So the no place is there all the time, in the wanting to get to the no place, and in the not, it's just there. It's like becoming more and more clear, the boundless sky beyond the clouds. Like, so there's absolute confidence that there is this boundless sky when the clouds, above the clouds. Like knowing that at all times, even when it's like an immense thunderstorms.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I suppose it's like what seems to be happening is like internally there's often this like, argument with life where it's like, I have to do this, but like, I don't want to do this. And then this victim story comes up. And I notice that like in doing these things, it's just like, I'm doing them to like try to get out of it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like that's sort of the avoidant dynamic, isn't it? Yeah. It's a narrative that you will have picked up from your parents. Like it'll be a genetic thing, and then a conditioned thing, and it's the narrative that comes up, and the whole time that it appears, there is always that stillness that it's appearing from, and that's the non-duality part. The healthy human is to try to expand that, is to try to get out of these unhealthy compulsion. So it's like recognizing that, understanding that, trying to expand that so it doesn't keep doing that. So that's the human side of things. But that doesn't lead you to non-duality. It's non-duality is where all of that's coming from. It's here in all of it, always. It's just remembering that for no one, in all times, this vast emptiness that's here. And then the mind looks, and it's like, yeah, screw this human stuff, they push it away. But it's then noticing that that's all appearing in the freedom, the pushing away, the holding on, the getting this idea, the believing I got to be like this. It's happening in no words, in no time, in no space.
Yeah, it seems very chaotic sometimes. Like, now it's okay. There's some of that chaos is still there, but it's just, when it's really intense, when there's like intense rage or like whatever is coming up, it's just, it seems like it's kind of just everywhere, and it's like, and then it's hard to come back. It just seems like, okay, how long do I have to go through this stuff? Like, just keep going, Brian. Like, if you do it enough, there's a story of like, if I do this enough, if I face the darkness enough, then I'm gonna be free. Then I'm gonna be enlightened. Yeah. I just have to live through this karma, like dense karma, and like get through it. Yeah. And I don't know if that story's true. It seems like it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with stories, is sometimes they fit and sometimes they don't. And a lot of the time we give cognitive dissonance to when they don't fit and we want them to fit. And we pretend, we ignore all the time. That's the nature of stories, is it doesn't quite fit on life, because they're stories that are made up and moving and changing, and life is moving and changing. So one thing that you say one moment can't be the same applied next moment. So it's kind of like the conundrum of being human, is like we can't quite capture our words onto events, just like you can't quite capture water in a sieve. So we're always trying to paddle to keep up until we begin to discover that anything that we think is nature to change and not true. And our truth is the freedom here in this moment, the place that it comes from. There are more healthy stories that can be told, but they're all stories. There are ones that will be more aiding towards health and expansion, and ones that will be more contractive, but that's not my job. That's more the job of the therapist and the energy worker and the people that are good at that, giving you better stories.
yeah, I guess that's sort of my quest to try to find a better story.
Yeah,
But
it's the hero's journey.
it's not working out too well.
But it's the hero's journey. It's what we're taught. Like the premise of writing is that we've always got to start from this place of there is a conundrum and there is a hurdle to overcome. So your hero's journey in that is that you've got these particular thoughts that you've got to overcome. So rather than overcoming like the Terminator, which might be considered thoughts, but you're overcoming the thoughts. It's like the nature of our thinking. We're always thinking in these archetypes and these mythologies, and then we believe that it's about us and it's about truth. And it's all thinking, thinking, thinking. So what is the no thinking place? And this is the greatest gift. You can get better archetypal stories, you can get better psychology, all of that. And I advise that, but that's not this place. But there's also this other gift that can happen, which is total freedom, is remembering who you are beyond stories. Who are you without a narrative?
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, thank you so much, Brian. Yeah, lovely to hear from you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
You have to unmute yourself. Mute yourself. You have to mute yourself. Sorry, I think.
Okay,
Maybe I do
yeah,
it.
cool.
Oh no, I do it.
Okay.
Sorry, I did it.